Hey YouTube, welcome back to Tinker with Tools. Tonight we are going to be talking about the brand new compact hammer drill from Bosch. So let's go ahead and get right into it and tinker with tools. So earlier this year at World of Concrete, one of the main tools that Bosch featured was this new compact hammer drill model GSB 18V800C. And it was interesting to me that at a show like World of Concrete, one of the things they were introducing was a really compact hammer drill. And I'm going to be honest, immediately the specs didn't actually jump off the page too much. And so I kind of wanted to go ahead and get it and see what there was going on here. Now on the surface, I do think that there is a lot of nice things about this drill. It comes in under 7 inches for a hammer drill, which is pretty decent. To give you kind of some comparison points, if you're looking at something from the DeWalt lineup, the DC-805 is actually just a little bit longer than this, but it is pretty slender and nice and compact. And especially when you pair it with their slim 4 amp hour battery, you do get a nice compact tool to carry around. Now, as I mentioned, it is a hammer drill, so you do have a screw, drill, and hammer setting up here on the first selector ring. And then you also are going to have 20 different clutch positions when you are in that screw setting. Up front is going to be an all metal Rome chuck. Other than their very basic tools, you are typically getting a nice all metal chuck on there, and I do find that they work quite well. Now as we move down the tool a little bit on the back here, you are going to have their connected ready Bluetooth module that you can put in there. Overall, the Bluetooth module is not that expensive to be able to put on the tool, but if you do go ahead and put that in there, you do get some additional functionality through their app. Now on this tool, I hate to say it's really not that much. You can adjust the light in terms of brightness, you can adjust the brightness of the display, and then you can also determine how long the light stays on when the trigger is pressed. It's not like some of their bigger tools where you can do some more advanced stuff with it. Now as we move down onto the base of the tool, that's where you're going to get this additional control panel. There are 2 different settings on there that I think are pretty awesome for a drill this size, and that is the first one is going to have kickback control. Now having kickback control on a drill in 2024 is not necessarily the most impressive thing, but one thing that I really like that Bosch does, especially on their newer tools, is you can easily defeat it, turning it on and off with the push of a button. Now the second one is going to be what's called their precision clutch. It doesn't actually affect anything with the clutch setting up here, other than when you do kind of hit the torque limit of that clutch setting, it does just shut the motor off. So there you have it for kind of the new features on this tool. Overall, kind of first impressions, it is pretty nice to use. I always think the Bosch tools are incredibly well made and very nice, high quality tools. I think that's one of the things that makes it interesting, that they just don't seem to sell as well here in the US. But one of the main questions I want to be able to answer for you tonight is where exactly does this slot into the lineup? And then we're going to go through some of the different options that I do actually have for tonight and show you some performance testing. This is going to be the lowest drill that I have on their 18-volt lineup, and this was purchased as a $99 drill as part of their Black Friday promotion a year or 2 ago. This one is just going to be a little bit bigger than the newer model. Now this is not the true predecessor to this tool. There is actually another model that's a 535, and that one I think is going to be really the true predecessor to this tool. This one is going to be a little bit less powerful, but it is still a hammer drill. It does still have the all metal chuck, like I said. One of the big differences between the 2 tools is this one gets all the way up to 2100 RPMs. This one's going to be down to 1800 max RPMs in speed 2, and I think we're going to see that in the performance testing. This is actually their 18-volt flexi click, so this is going to have the interchangeable chucks that you can go ahead and put onto the tool. They kind of add some versatility to this model, but in terms of performance testing, I do expect that it will be very similar without the additional SDS attachment for the flexi click. This is not a hammer drill, so when we do the testing in the concrete block, this one is going to sit out because I do not have that SDS attachment. But if you have that 535 hammer drill, and I would expect the power on all the other testing is going to be very similar to that. All right, and then we're kind of stepping up to the first of a slightly larger Bosch drill. This is the 975C, and overall at the very beginning it feels like a very big drill, but it is, like I said, very well made. That's going to be synonymous with every single one of these drills that is out here today, but it just didn't pack the power of what I was seeing with full-size drills at the time. Now this is obviously a step up in power and size and weight over that of our slightly more compact, but I wanted to go ahead and give you something that would kind of show you where it stacks up to their more powerful stuff. And now the top of the top when it comes to Bosch drills, this is going to be the 1330C. This is the drill they dubbed the world's strongest strongest drill. This is a really powerful drill, especially when you pair it with that 8 amp hour battery that I've got it here. Once again, it maintains relatively the same size as the 975, but it just kind of gains a bunch more power. And then as it does that, it also gains a couple additional bells and whistles. Instead of the precision clutch though, it does have the angle detection where you're actually able to go ahead and set an angle. So as I get to a 45 degree here, you can go ahead and get the green light and know you're drilling at approximately 45 degrees. And so that is something that you're just not going to find on a lot, if very many drills at all. All right, so we've gone over each of the drills. I do want to kind of just go ahead and show you some quick measurements and specs to show you how they compare to each other, and then we'll jump right into the performance testing. All right, so you'll have just seen the results to the performance testing. I have a general idea of where they are, but I have not seen the actual times. As it pertains to our newest drill, it really does kind of fare pretty well as it compares to the two kind of more entry-level predecessor drills, the 490 and then the 18-volt Flexi Click. There were just a couple of tasks where even though it's not that much more torque than the Flexi Click, the additional speed of going up to 2100 RPMs and then just a little bit more torque was able to get certain jobs done a little bit better than the Flexi Click and certainly better than the 490. So in that regard, it is a step up. 565 inch-pounds of torque is not necessarily a really impressive number. It kind of puts it more in a mid-tier drill, maybe even competing with some of the more powerful compact drills. So it's going to be interesting when I test this up against some of its peers, if you will, to see how it stacks up, because I do think that using this drill in person, it doesn't necessarily feel super powerful, but up to a certain point, it is able to get the jobs done. I feel like this is enough of a step up from their previous drills that for a lot of people, this would be powerful enough. If you're doing day in and day out heavy duty work with your drill, you're not going to be shopping for this unless it's like a second more compact drill, in my opinion. You're going to be buying into a more powerful drill. But for the person who just needs it to do occasional bigger stuff, I think it is sufficient to be able to do that. And I think that's where it's really going to shine. Having the anti-kickback control, I think, is fabulous. I think it should be almost standard on most tools. But the nice thing that Bosch really does is you can easily turn it on and off. If you want to have it engaged or not, that is going to be up to you. And then when we actually went ahead and put the bigger 8 amp hour battery on this tool, it did provide a little bit of benefit. When I did some testing with the 1.25" spade bit, it was not able to do it in speed 2 to start out on the 4 amp hour battery. But when I put it in the 8 amp hour battery, other than binding up right at the end, it actually made it through and was able to do it all in speed 2. Now, when it comes down to this individual drill, I think it's easy to recommend it as a worthy drill for someone to go out and buy and a worthy step up from those other ones. But when it comes to Bosch as a platform in 2024, does it make sense for you to buy into that platform? I think that's where it gets a little dicier. There is still a in-store presence near me in Lowe's, but it certainly has been relegated to a second or third tier option in terms of what they are promoting in their stores. And so that is unfortunate, because I do think compared to something like Craftsman, for example, this is a step up. This is going to be a better quality tool. I think there's a lot of decent tools on Bosch's lineup. Right now, there still is good availability on other sites, and even on Amazon, you can get some pretty good deals on their tools. And so if you just want a good bang for the buck tool, I think that is certainly the case. All right, so there you have it. That is my review of this new drill. In the coming weeks, we are going to put it up against a number of other kind of compact premium drills, and we're going to see how it stacks up and kind of show what the performance is compared to some of those drills that you may already have on your tool shelves. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you have any questions specifically about this drill, please leave them down in the comments below and we'll try and get them answered for you. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and make sure to turn on notifications so you get notified when I put out a new video. As always, I appreciate the support of the channel, and until next time, I'll catch you on Tinker with Tools.